They were shorthanded. De'Aaron Fox missed the game with hamstring soreness. How was the Kings defense going to show up tonight? Mike Brown called out players after the game. He called out Kevin Huerter after last game for his lack of rebounding. The Kings responded tonight. They take care of business on the home floor, beating the Pelicans 123-108, and Kevin Huerter brought it. Sabonis with another trip dub. Kings are 7-1 when he does that. And Davion Mitchell in the starting lineup, he did some big things, not only defensively, but offensively. And here are the Kings back to 12 games above 500 and 3 tough games that lie ahead, but the test continues. Every single game. It's a playoff-like atmosphere. You got a home win tonight. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Mo?
Every time you do that recap after a win, I want to run through a wall for you. It just makes me feel so good. Thinking about that game tonight, everything was going so well. So well in so many different ways. I felt very proud. But on top of everything, I was entertained. And I think just as a basketball fan, you could be watching the Sacramento Kings right now and be entertained on almost any night.
Well, the biggest thing tonight is you're playing without De'Aaron Fox. Mike Brown said before the game that if this was a playoff game, he would have played and that he wanted to play tonight. But Mike Brown said he pulled the plug on it. He figured, hey, you got a little hamstring soreness. We don't want this thing to linger.
Yeah.
Let's give you a couple of days off before our next game Thursday on national TV against the New York Knicks. So they sat Fox tonight in hopes that, hey, he'll feel a lot better and come back and be ready to go Thursday against New York. So without their starting point guard, the Kings matched their season high in assists. Morgan Reagan, the Kings had 39 assists tonight, and the ball was whipping. Of course, it helps when you knock down shots. That's what happens when you pass, knock down shot, you get an assist. Duh. But the ball movement tonight was beautiful.
We talked about this Pelican squad before tonight's game and what they're averaging with steals, 8.6 steals per game. So they're a team that creates a lot of their offense off of their defense, getting their hands in the passing lanes. We talk about how the Kings have had their issues against longer teams. This is the Pelicans. The Kings did such a fantastic job executing their game plan. It didn't matter if it was moving without the basketball or making a shot fake to make that extra pass. Whatever it was just done on such a high level tonight. 18th time this year that the Kings have posted 30-plus assists. And so you look at this team, and when they're not only scoring, but they're moving that ball like they were tonight, magic happens.
Another insane stat from the G-Man Gary Gerald tonight about the Kings offense. What? They scored 38 points in the third quarter, outscoring New Orleans 38-20. That's a pretty significant number because it is the 53rd time this season they have scored 35 or more in a quarter.
Wow. Just wow. And that's what's so great about it, Deuce. It's the way that they're playing, the way that they're scoring. They're just such a high-scoring team, and especially in a quarter like that. I mean, you saw when they started making those shots and then playing some really good defense, moving on a string, rotating over, contesting shots, finishing a defensive possession with a rebound. They were pushing the ball the other way and just never let go of the gas.
They also threw in some zone defense tonight. Luke Laux had that idea, and they went, yeah, let's go ahead and try a different look. And you're seeing more and more teams around the league throw out zone defenses.
Yep.
And the Kings did it, and it looked okay against the Pelicans, especially in the second half. New Orleans only scored 49 points in the second half of that game. In fact, New Orleans shot just 47%. They were 2 of 13 from 3. With those 49 points. The Kings in the second half had 64 points on 57% shooting. Got a little three-point happy at the end. Took some threes late in that fourth quarter. Ended up 6 of 19 in the second half. But for Sacramento, they still shot 56%. They still were 16 of 38 from 3 overall. And the 39 assists and just 11 turnovers. Just incredible stuff. Who do we start with tonight? I think it's got to be Kevin Huerter, right? Red Velvet, who got called out. And let's also reflect on Kevin Huerter for a second.
Okay, reflecting.
He could not hit anything in the month of February.
No.
Nothing.
It was bad.
He went to All-Star Weekend.
Oh.
And he had a really bad weekend, like one of the worst 3-point shootouts ever.
Okay. Yeah.
But you got to stay locked in. You got to trust your work. You got to keep going.
That's what
Get a little rest. There's talk about his conditioning. Is he ready to go? Well, coming out of the break, the Kings are 5-1. In Kevin Huerter's last 4 games, he is 17 of 29 from 3.
Let's go. Dude, I said coming into tonight's game how I just want to see the Kings really play sharp. And by playing sharp, that's not making those small mistakes, sure, but also when you're coming off a screen, are you rubbing off a guy's shoulder, right? Just the little things. Kevin Huerter, the way that he would come off of the screen, the way that he was moving without the basketball, the way that he was stepping into his shot, his footwork just looked so much more crisp, so much more assertive, like he felt confident in what he was doing. And all those little things, I believe, have led to him shooting so much better.
Yeah, he finished. The scoring's great, too. I mean, 25 points for him on 9 of 16 shooting. He was 6 of 10 from 3-point range. But what I like tonight, your guy's out. Fox is out. Who's going to create? Who's going to set guys up? How's this ball going to get moving? Well, shooting opens up everything, of course. But Kevin Huerter got it going. He was dropping dimes. He had 8 assists in this game. He was also called out after last game by Mike Brown about the rebounding, because I think he and was a Fox combined for like 2 or something.
It
crazy.
was
It was bad. It was bad. All I know is it was really bad. He had 5 rebounds tonight. So you get 25, 8, and 5, along with 2 steals from Kevin Huerter.
Dude, he's been racking up those steals as well. Like that's something, at least when he was having those bad shooting nights, you were still like, well, you can depend on him defensively at times, just being active, high IQ player. But then on the offensive end was still doing a good job from the mid-range, or a decent job. And now it seems like it's all coming back to him. It's looking good in the 2-man game.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back to him now.
He was lost and now he has been found. I don't know.
You turn that over.
That song is so hard to hit, dude. It's like
I thought you were gonna. I thought it was a home run.
When he shoots just like this, and he passes like that.
Yeah.
He had lost his shot then, but it's all coming back to him. It's all coming back to him. It's all coming back.
It's all coming back to him.
There was nighttime and this pleasure.
Great pass. Hammer time. Sabonis. He's fouled. It'll be a 3-point opportunity.
That was a sweet pass late he had to Sabonis for that jam. That was awesome. Beautiful stuff. Also in the chat, we are not doing this tonight.
What?
Gilbert.
We look good without Fox. emoji.
No, I love it. Bring it. Do it. I love sports hot takes. They're great. No.
Do you think maybe, hey Gilby, do you think maybe it's because the Kings have some depth now? Do you think it's maybe because they have a good team
don't
and
be
they
the
can win
weirdo.
shorthanded?
Don't be the weirdo. Don't be the weirdo. Let Gilbert be the weirdo. Don't be the weirdo back. No, that's the one thing. Ew, when I watch.
Hold me back.
No, okay, here. Oh my God, he's so strong. I can barely hold him
We
back.
don't need to do this every time, okay?
Jesus.
The Kings actually have a losing record when Fox doesn't play this year. He's an all-star. It's old. It's tired.
How does it even bother you?
We just have to put him in his place, and the chat
No,
does too.
You guys, Gilbert's fine. Just
No,
let
he's not.
Gilbert be.
Gilbert,
okay?
dead to me. Dead. Over. I'm not doing Fox slander anymore.
You know what? One of my least favorite things when I watch other teams' podcasts,
Yeah?
and the hosts are homers and they go at people.
Oh.
Gilbert's wrong, but you don't need to
Go at
you don't
him.
need to bully Gilbert.
I did a bit where he's
You
looking
called
at
him
the camera.
Gilby.
Gilby, I was looking
What
at
if
him.
what if you got bullied being called Gilby? You know?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
Well, Gilbert, you're wrong.
Yes.
I'll tell you that.
No, but in all seriousness, I just Kevin Huerter was fantastic tonight, and it was for a guy that could not make anything in the month of February, and he was trying to find other ways to impact the game still,
Yeah.
but you could tell it was, at some point it's going to mess with your confidence. So for him now to kind of get into some rhythm the last few games, look like kind of the old Kevin Huerter, he's coming down. off dribble handoffs. When he gets really going, he's like, I'm going to go ahead and launch this in transition from deep. And then his ability, because of being a 3-point threat, he could still put the ball on the floor and do other things out there. You kind of saw like the best of Kevin Huerter, the best version of him tonight.
Yeah, that's what it was. You got the best version of Kevin Huerter, and we saw it on a consistent level to start the season. And that's why I have no doubt in my mind that you can see him play at a high level consistently from here on out. I think it's like we kept saying, we kept going, oh, is this going to be the game that gives him confidence? And what we've seen from each game, you just mentioned his numbers, the last 4, I believe.
Yep.
You've seen it progress every single game. It just keeps growing. His confidence keeps growing. Whether he's being empowered by teammates or coaches, whoever it is that's helping him out, mental strength coach that you talked to early on before the game, I don't care who it is, it's helping.
Yeah, it was huge for Sacramento tonight. Who's the next guy we got to talk about?
Davion Mitchell. Stepping up, stepping in. He got the deep hog chain.
Well, people wanted to bury this guy, man.
Every single time, though. Every single time people want to bury him.
I was really happy that now this is kind of the second straight start he's had in place of Fox where he looks more comfortable out there. And I've said this for a while about Davion. He's a great example of a guy that I think is just better with more minutes, with just more of a run. And yes, he does need to adjust to his role on this team. Obviously, it helps when he's knocking down shots, but I felt like he just pushed the pace tonight. He was making sure that, of course, you know what he's going to do defensively. He won the defensive player of the game chain. He was everywhere tonight. I just thought he was doing a great job pushing the pace, and he had one sweet attack. He looked fast. I was like, oh, man, is that De'Aaron Fox out there? I was really pleased with what I saw from Davion.
Yeah, he can turn on the jets. He is a nice, quick first step. I mean, sometimes his handles are underrated, especially when he can get a defender to just go one way and then he explodes another. But it was also the way that he was shooting the three. It's not like he was staying in one spot and being a spot-up shooter. He created some of those threes. One of those late threes that he had where he took that giant step back and just, you could tell he was feeling it. And that's the type of confidence I want him to feel. And I understand if that's only going to come sometimes when you're getting more and more time on the floor or you're playing with the first unit. But he's got to find that groove even when he's not with those guys sometimes. And I get it. It's hard because there's more attention on them too.
Yeah, he had 15 points tonight. He also had 6 dimes. He had that one sweet one where Sabonis got it to him, and then he found Kevin Huerter for a jam, which was just spectacular. In fact, here's how it sounded, courtesy. Sounded, according to the G-Man.
That's turnover number 10 by the Pelicans. Long lead pass to Sabonis. 2-point range, right wing. Drops it off his hip to Davion. Attacks, looks for the cutter. It's Huerter to the rim for the two-hand flush. Beautifully timed. Sabonis to Davion, the red velvet.
Dude, I'm telling you, Deuce, the way that this team was passing tonight, like we saw the way Minnesota was passing the other night.
Yeah.
And it was crisp. It was great offense. You're like, man, Minnesota doesn't usually shoot that well from three. Well, they were against the Sacramento Kings defense, but they were also playing really well. The Kings tonight, they were playing really well on the offensive end with the way that they were moving around the basketball, finding one another. But truly, individuals, the way that they were creating for themselves, whether it was Kevin Huerter or Davion Mitchell, and then Keegan Murray with that nice step back that he had. I mean, you were just seeing guys feel a little bit more confident out there, and you just hope that when De'Aaron Fox is back, that everyone feels that same way, because De'Aaron would never make someone feel that way. It's more like they just have to feel confident in themselves and their ability to play this game at a high level too.
And in all fairness, too, the Kings' assist numbers are high like almost every night. I mean, how many times have they been above 30 this year?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying even with the individuals creating for themselves, with a lot of those step backs and taking 2 more extra dribbles or getting to the basket. I mean, you saw some of the numbers in the paint tonight. Will Z Stats on Twitter had some great numbers about what they were doing in the paint. Kings 25 for 30 in the restricted area tonight, just a high level there. And they also had 10 dunks. So they were not just making their baskets. They were going full force, physical, with authority at the rim.
Yeah, it was good to see them play with that type of force. I think that was the other thing tonight. We've been talking so much about the offense because the offense is seemingly like fun every single night.
Hell yeah.
I was really pleased to see the effort defensively. The first half, it was like, God, man, they just couldn't. Gave up a couple of late threes to tie it up at 59. But it did feel like they were playing with more physicality. It felt like I saw more deflections tonight. I didn't see the final deflections number, but they were definitely more active. And in the guys. And with their pick and roll concepts, that's what they want to do, right? Like when Minnesota was shredding them, the low man was coming over to help. And I felt like they were helping too much off the corner. But that's kind of their strategy. It's not so much the low man's fault for not getting back and contesting a corner three or being a hair late or whatever. It's on the guys defending the pick and roll to put legit ball pressure, use their length to make these passes difficult. So instead of having a laser pass to the corner for an open three, they got to like loft it up in the air, which will lead that low man. It gives that low man more time to get back over to that corner.
And even on the pick and roll too, when you look at someone hedging the person with the ball, it's like, how much can you stunt them? How much can you slow them down? So you're disrupting them, creating that space in the pick and roll. And I think the Kings were just locked in defensively, really making sure that every single rotation, every single pick and roll, contested shot was just on the money with how they were playing.
Yeah, Davion Mitchell, big time stuff on both ends tonight
Yup.
for the Sacramento Kings. Let's give some love to the people watching us live right now. Closing in on 600 people. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to the channel because it just helps us grow. I'll give you a hell yeah for that.
Thank you.
Give me a hell yeah.
Do you want to hear from Kevin Huerter, Morgan? He was on with the G-Man after the game.
Oh.
Here's Kevin Huerter after his big game for the Kings.
Yeah, we need a little payback. They definitely got us pretty good out there. For us, it was a game going into it without De'Aaron. Obviously, we needed guys to step up. Davion was great, set the pace for us, playing defense all night. And everybody else just did their part. This was, as everybody knows, we need every win, especially here at home. So it was good for us to take care of it tonight.
Only the 9th time this year that the Kings have held an opponent under 110 points. That is somewhat significant when you look at the numbers that have been given up on a fairly regular business lately.
Yeah, we're giving up too many points. I think it was 138 the other night. We're scoring enough to win these games. We just got to be a little bit better defensively.
How important is it, Kevin, when you have the rhythm early, you knock down your first 4 threes in almost bang, 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 bang fashion?
Yeah, it's big, obviously. As a shooter, every time the ball goes in, your confidence rises. You get the confidence you're seeing it go in, especially in the game. So anytime you can knock down shots early in the game, it sets the tone for the rest of the way.
And we were talking about how, the perception may have been because of your three-point success in your early days with the Kings. You're so much more of a complete ball player. And tonight, a couple of times teaming up with Sabonis, you end up with 8 assists tonight. You had 5 rebounds. You had a couple of steals. You had a block shot. You didn't turn the ball over. Man, that's filling the stat sheet. I'm impressed. Are you impressed?
That's what I do. That's what I do. Obviously, the three-point shot opens everything else up. So just trying to stay aggressive on the offensive side.
How much fun are you having with this bunch?
I'm having a lot of fun. It's really nice. Everything's better when you're winning. I've never in my career been a 3 seed. I think now we're back to 12 games over 500.
Yep.
Never been there before. So there's a lot of firsts this year. And it's always fun when you win. These fans have been great. Team has been great. We just obviously got to keep it up. We're not finished yet.
Well, let's break some more ceilings. What do you say?
There you go. Light that beam.
All right. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, guys.
Like that beam.
Dude, I love it. I love when G-Man was going over his stat line. He goes, that's what I do. He's got a little swagger right now. He's got his confidence back, which is great after a tough month.
Yeah, no, and that's what you want to hear and what you want to see. But what I love about Kevin Huerter too, I feel like he's not just going to bullshit you too. Like he's going. We've seen him in conversations and in interviews now, and he's pretty honest. And I love the G-Man. He's just a freaking treasure.
Morgan, they're 5-1 after the break. That's a good response coming out of the break, and
Great
even
response.
last game you played crap defense.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of mistakes, and Minnesota was also just amazing.
Hot,
Like,
yeah.
give them credit because
Yep.
I thought Minnesota looks pretty good right now. They look like they got a squad that could be dangerous if they
Oh.
make the playoffs.
Absolutely. And that starts with Anthony Edwards.
Right.
Yeah.
So for them they lost by 4 in that game, and they didn't play great, and they lost by 4 because of how special this offense can be. So to bounce back tonight like this, it was significant, especially with a couple of days off of the Knicks coming into town. Next guy I got to talk. This guy, I think I'm VP of the Trey Lyles fan club.
I was going to guess who you're going to talk about, but I was going to guess Trey Lyles. I saw your tweet early on, and
Dude, he's just been so
solid.
steady. And I thought
Yes.
tonight he came in right away and had a giant impact. Still not him at small ball 5. You know, Mike Brown went with Lyles and Metu again off the bench, which is okay. But he comes in and he gets the ball in the perimeter, pump fake, drive, and dunk. He's dropping dimes in the post to Metu. He's getting doubled in the post. He's knocking down perimeter shots. He's getting rebounds. He's dropping dimes. This guy off your bench tonight was magical.
you talk about that pass to Metu when he was in the post, or he was like taking a step in or whatever, and the defense collapsed on him, had 2 guys on him. There's still a guy around Metu, but he dished it off to Metu for a 2 in the restricted area. And it was just like the way it was surprising how deep that they would allow him to go every single time. It's like they didn't respect his game, but at the same time, Trey Lyles is a very strong man, and he uses his strength to push through, to get physical with guys. And that's why we get so excited when we go, oh, small ball 5, Trey Lyles,
Yeah.
because there is so much that he can accomplish even as a smaller dude because of his strength. And I think on the defensive end, Deuce, sometimes it just doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but he does a lot of things right. And it might not even be a deflection. It's just the right rotation, or the a good contest, or just staying vertical. I love what Trey Lyles has been offering off the bench for the Kings.
He was also defending Brandon Ingram at times.
Yeah.
And I think if you would have said before the game, hey, I think the Kings are going to throw Lyles on Ingram, you'd be like, oh, man, is he going to be able to like stick him and stay with him? He did.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he was shutting down Brandon Ingram. I didn't think Ingram had a great game at all, but he still, number-wise, put up 24 points, 7 assists, 9 of 16. And it wasn't like he was on him the whole game, but there were times during the game like, oh, wow, Lyles is defending Ingram for multiple possessions here. And, yeah, I mean, I think with him, too, Brown's given him the confidence, like, shoot the 3. Shoot it. We trust that you could do it, knock it down. And he came in. I know we've talked about this before, but Trey Lyles got into great shape. He moves really well. He looks like a much different guy than he did when he got to Sacramento last year in that deal with the Pistons. And, I think at the trade deadline, when they pulled off that, I believe it was a 3-team trade where they got DiVincenzo, Josh Jackson, Trey Lyles back, right? I think that was a piece.
Okay.
Those were the pieces. Who would have thought, DiVincenzo's having a nice year with Golden State coming
Sure.
off the bench. Josh Jackson was in the G League for like a second. I don't even know what he's doing now. But Trey Lyles, I don't think many people that day were like, hey, man, I think he could be great for the Kings.
Was anyone?
No, I mean,
did we
did talk about him.
We did
Yeah,
a small
but-
pod on him. Okay.
It's amazing when we always talk about roles and, team fit and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a perfect role. Like,
He
what do you
is.
need from him? This guy comes off your bench tonight, gives you 14 points, 5 rebounds, 4 dimes in 17 minutes. He plays hard. He does the little things. He could jam it on your head. He can hit a 3. He can rebound. He could pass. Like,
Well,
he's the perfect guy you want for this offense, especially coming off your bench. And another guy that you go, oh, you're starting to see his confidence tick up with that second unit.
Yeah, he's efficient, right? When he's out there, he's dependable. And I think what we've seen from Mike Brown and his standards, he wants guys that are going to definitely listen to his rules, but also you can get creative and there's going to be freedom within those rules, right? But you just have to make sure you're doing all the right things, being the fundamentals, whether it's a good jump stop or it's a good rotation or staying vertical. Those little things details matter to Mike Brown. He's always been a very detail-oriented guy, and I think Trey Lyles is really good about being good when it comes to the details.